Good morning, everybody. Sorry we're a couple minutes late. Of course, I for the first time in a long time overslept. My partner, Big Lou, and we got a special guest today. Someone that I found very interesting. Someone that made me laugh. Someone that is probably doing the most difficult thing that most people can't do and don't want to do. The man, Clearwater Chad, who does our one and only Stuttering John. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Joey. Appreciate. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Lou, what's going on this morning? The little guy is still with you?
Yeah, he'll be leaving in a little while, so when I go off screen, that is why.
Well, make sure you give that little boy. His uncle said we'll see him down the road, all right? And try not to take it too hard, buddy, because I know that's your pride and joy.
It's going to be tough because when he goes to leave, he doesn't like leaving.
Yeah.
He loves being with grandma and grandpa, but it's going to be a few minutes of pain, but then I'll get over it.
All right, buddy. All right, so Chad, I saw you. They were talking about you yesterday. I started watching you. Man, oh man, you are so guest spot with this Stuttering John. What's your thoughts, emotionally wise? I mean, when I think I heard that you told me a little briefly about it, that your brother is the one that turned John to John, and that's how he came to life for you to be able to do him.
Absolutely, yeah. My brother told me about Stuttering John, and I watched a couple of his episodes, and I'm like, I don't like him. Yeah. And then I kept having to watch him. I don't know what it is about him. You don't know why. You just have to go back to him, and I so I said I have to do this character.
I understand.
Maybe someone could explain the appeal of Stuttering John because I just don't see it.
Well, I know what he means. I tried for months and tried to convince people this guy's all right, man. He's a good dude. He's got a heart of gold. There's just sometimes the way John you just get memorized about it, just falling and they help the guy and people are telling me you're crazy. I know this guy a long time. He's gonna do nothing. He's gonna take you down. He's no good. I didn't want to hear it. I went around and I just plugged him and told him that they were wrong and they're gonna see and finally, it happened. What he's capable of doing, especially when it comes to friendship, it happened. And at first for me, my first thing is it got ugly, but then certain individuals talked me out of getting crazy on him and embrace it and be his best friend as much as I could. And that started. We did that for a couple months, and finally, Shuli called me on a Sunday. Says, "Forget the work." He sent you a link. I was napping. I didn't even know that John had sent me a link. And she goes, "Take that link and go annihilate him because I can't take him talking about your wife." And then the rest was history. But what when you were first turned on to him and you're watching him and you're seeing what type of person he was, what was the first thing you didn't like about him? What was the first thing that made you say, "Oh no, I can't do this"?
Well, I think the first couple episodes were his political shows, so he wasn't doing any of his lines and stuff. So it really wasn't, But there was still something about him. Maybe he must have did one or two, and that's one of the things is that I can't explain it.
Right.
So I kept going back, and and I still don't know, and you don't really get, yeah.
For me, when I saw you, had the first time I saw you guys, you're spot on, man. I'm like, wow. I couldn't get enough. I kept watching you yesterday. I'm like, this guy is unbelievable, man. And
give us a taste.
What's that?
Give us a taste of the Stuttering John impression.
Oh, it's hard to do now. I'm not in character, but I have to. I get in character when I drink. It's just water now, but I usually drink the actual, like the beer. You have to really get in and wear I'll wear a shirt close to his.
Yeah, look at it.
And I could talk about Julie. I could talk about that clown. I could, so it's hard to do when you're not, when you're trying.
You gotta love Joey's blurry cam.
Oh yeah.
No, mine's it's like that too.
Yeah. I don't want to turn the light on my wife. I don't know why it's going blurry like that. It should be
yeah. Right.
Let's focus on Chad. Don't focus on me. Focus on Clearwater Chad. About him.
I go in. I try to do the characters that people like. And so far, this is probably on the most popular one right now. Even my community, that my people, and I see some of my people in the chat. But even my people seem to think this is the best one, even though it's not part of our community.
Now,
So that takes the level.
Now, you said how long you been doing this? About a year and a half is when you start doing impressions. Is that how long you've been
About
doing
a year and a
Stuttering John? Year and a half.
About roughly about 2 months, maybe.
2 months with Stuttering John. Now, how long did you have to when you first from the beginning to learning him to seeing what it's about to forming the character? How long did it take you to really where you were comfortable to say, "I got this. I'm nailing this. I'm comfortable. This is working." How long did it take you?
I start out usually by doing. I remember this actually. It's a good question. I started out by doing a short, real short, like 17 seconds. Then I'll do a 1 minute video, and then when I get the confidence, then I'll do a couple short lives.
Right.
And once you can do your first live as the character, you got to clench that beer and make sure you're drinking the beer, and you kind of get into his spirit a little bit as much as you could for not really knowing him in real life.
Chad, don't you know who I am? I'm Stuttering John, don't you know? you don't watch that other guy. What the dues payer? They don't know. The lady
he's a dues payer. He's a shitware.
So you seriously channel the drinking as well?
Yeah. Like I said, I don't drink in real life, but I drink when I'm as a kid. And I was just water this morning, but I can't do it as well if I don't really drink a Coors Light, because that's him. That's what he does.
That's what he does. I was fortunate enough, and I'll say this. I will not say I didn't learn something from him. Working with him, he's just as much of a jerk he could be, and how many people you see can turn on him. It was fun working with him. When he was drunk, I don't know if you know who DG is. DG was with me on Catalan TV and was one of the guys that tried to work with John and get him on the right track and want to fall out. But there was that one night that John was belligerently drunk, so inebriated so bad, where John actually solicited me to commit murder.
Oh my God!
Yeah, it really did. He was so drunk, and he wanted me to go. He kept asking me, and he kind of set me up, and I don't drink either. And DG was pretty hammered too, and so now I'm sitting there. My partner that's on the channel, who we both are big Stuttering John fans. We both are trying to be his friend, and now I got him drunk, and I'm like, I got to be really smart here, and John got pretty deep, and but it was funny. You just had to roll with it. You try not to take him serious, but I wish I had footage. I mean, we have it, but if you ever get a chance, it was probably on for about 4 or 5 hours. He was on. And I think that was the second time in the day that he was on, because he did his regular show. But that particular day, he got really drunk. And John's very needy. Have you met him yet? Have you ever got a chance to talk with him and meet him?
No, I was and I didn't know if he'd go to DabbleCon, but I toyed with the idea of going to DabbleCon just in case he was there, but I never made it.
The problem is John never.
John won't be there.
Never walked through the door. If he did, right, Lou.
My shitty internet wants to know, Chad, what do you think about John's habitual lying?
Good question.
I think, and if I could do a little, I think anyone that thinks that Stuttering John is a liar, they are F-rated. They are fake, false, fraud, failing, flunky, floozy. I don't believe it. You don't believe it. I don't see it. You don't see it. Be it hit, me it did. That's what I think about that.
Do an impression of an interesting guest. That's a good one.
That is a good one. We got a lot of interesting guests.
How
about if I do my Ross? How about if I do my Ross Perot?
All right, sounds good.
I'm just a cur dog, tended to my family in Texarkana. Can I finish? Are you darn? Catch my drift. Can I finish?
That's awesome, man.
He gives off one of those impressions like, I don't know. It's weird, but it's funny. What is the thing that you dislike most about John's character? The habitual lying.
We're not admitting to that.
No. I think I think it's got. If I was to watch other people, and I think that's probably what everybody's pretty much hung up with him. How he sits there and he just lies, and he's so good at. And he'll like. I told you I don't lie. You know, I told you that yesterday. You know, I'm the nice guy. I give my heart to everybody. You know, everybody's always crapping out on me. You know.
Yeah. What is the drunkest you've seen John?
John, I've only watched a handful because I watch the same ones. I try to get the character down, so I haven't seen him that.
Also, you don't progress with his videos; you just stick to a certain one to get the mannerisms.
Yep,
gotcha.
I mean, I try to watch the newer, obviously when he goes live and stuff. But as for the old ones, there's just one or two that I watch.
Dude, like Luke.
I'm not asking this one.
Which one? Is this the question we're going to ask right here?
This is the one that popped up by My Shitty Internet.
Mike Shitty Internet was a great supporter of the channel. He's good people, a friend. So Mike, anything he wants to ask, I'm going to ask because Mike is who he is. He's just a good guy, But he's asking you, which is a very delicate situation with Stuttering John.
That's why I just didn't want to touch it.
He cries about it, but he's the one that initiated in the first place on the internet. He's the one that talked more about his own children than anybody else had. So the question from Mike City Internet is, Chad, what are your opinions on John's kid situation?
Well, I'm hoping it's. I can't believe that it's as bad as what. Even if he put it out, it might have been as a joke. In my opinion.
Well, I don't know. I can tell you one fact that I know for sure. That John is so into himself and so desperate that he sold one of his kids' photos to a paparazzi for $300.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Is he that much of a scumbag?
That much of a scumbag.
God damn, bro. Like,
that's a fact.
Wow.
And this is things I didn't know when I was defending him. I don't know if you ever saw the Point Table Point. That's the round table discussion they have on Fridays. They switch off to the Shooting Network to Carl. Have you seen that? Have you had a chance to see the one?
I try to watch Shuli and the other big forgot his name, but I don't think I've seen that.
WATP. Every Friday for the last, I don't know, maybe 13 or 14, 15 weeks, they do a roundtable discussion. It's all about Stuttering John. And it's pretty good. I mean, they rotate 1 week, it's on Carl's, and they got different guests on there. I think I've done 3 or 4 of their shows. Well, I talked to Shuli one day. I go, you know what? I got an idea. You got usually 4 or 5 people on the panel. I go, what about I go on the panel this week? Instead of me being on the table where I'm with you guys, I'm representing John, and what you guys are talking, I'm rebuttaling you guys what you're saying about John, and I'm trying to do the opposite and convince you guys that's BS, John. I like that. Shuli and Carl immediately said, that's a good idea. We never done it like that. And it went well, and I'm pretty sure John watched it. He claims he really didn't, but he knew too much because a couple of days later, he actually called me up the same night. He goes, how you doing today? I go, good. He goes, I heard you went on Point Dale Point today, right? Here I'm waiting for him to say, like, what are you doing? Are you trying to betray me? He goes, for the first time, he goes, thanks. He goes, my intel tells me you really stuck up hard for me. He goes, you didn't crack and let those guys make me look like a jerk off. He goes, what made you do that? I go, I told you I was your friend, John. I go, I'm not trying to prove nothing to you, but I'm glad you noticed that. And so it worked. But it was funny because I remember it was Anthony Cumia's girl, Missy. She was one of the panelists, and she was just looking at me, and she goes, you got a lot of heart. She goes, like, you'll see. Maybe I hope you wake up and see. When you do, you'll understand. And behold, for my life, I swear to God, it started to bear fruit that what everybody was trying to tell me. Casey Armstrong, who probably knows John better than anybody, and he was calling me and texting me, telling me, please, you're a good guy. Don't go with John. He'll eat you alive. This guy's a con man. He'll use and abuse you. I go, I got pretty thick skin. I can handle John. He goes, and I at the point, I'm like, surely I can't lie to Casey. I got to tell him it's work. And I'm with you. He goes, tell Casey and tell him to call me. So we let Casey on, and Casey goes, Shuli's got your back. He explained everything. He goes, oh yeah, you had me almost thinking you were going to fall in with this guy. This guy would have destroyed you. He said, trust me, he would have destroyed you. And he wound up hitting on the scumbag, hit on my wife, right in front of me. He just, he is just a scumbag.
Wow.
And I just and to see you to do him like that, it made me feel good because I'm like, good. I wish there was more of you guys that could just take his mannerisms and just blow him out the water every day. So for me, congratulations that you're mastering that, because someday I hope there's someone that is going to be out there on a regular show and he sees it and hears about it every day, and you're doing a better Stuttering John than Stuttering John. You know what I'm saying? Because that's going to drive him nuts. That's what's going to drive him nuts.
So, did
Thank
you
you
ever
very
watch
much.
the Howard
You're welcome.
Stern show?
I did back in the old days when it was free. Now I guess you have to pay for it on Sirius XM.
Yeah, it's like 7, 8, 15, as high as $15 a month.
And
they
folks,
usually offer.
I don't even know what a Roku is. How am I going to watch Howard Stern, folks?
You mean you're gonna buy me one? Come on and buy me one, then I'll go check it out. Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, if I guarantee, if I was still on his side, I would have him here with you today, right now. But he just he stays away from me, because if you don't, I don't know how much you really have studied him outside of what to do to your act, but John he likes to dox people, he likes to threaten people. He likes to make content. It's like a couple months ago, or a month, within the last 45 days. He knows he's driving on the highway making content going to Kevin Brennan's house. He knows damn well Kevin's out bike riding every day at the same time. Melton was pretty upfront when he was going to be home and not home. He chose to go after Melton left. So, John is definitely all talk. I mean, he tries to thrive on everything that he's done. I've accomplished this. No one's got to, except for Kevin Brennan. But I don't understand why. Kevin, why are you trying to for Kevin? He's just can't understand it. And Brennan, as much as Brennan is just an old grouchy man, I think even Brennan said, "Screw you, John. You're just an idiot." You know what I'm saying? And John, if you were working, it was you're the guy that's working with him. First of all, he's very needy. He's like a little bitch. He's going to call you 15 times a day in the morning. He's going to drive you nuts. With me, he couldn't grasp it. I told him straight up, listen to me. I'm not going to lay down and kiss your ass like you want. Okay? If I'm friends with Shuli, so be it. That's got nothing to do with you. Learn to fucking live with it, I told him. And he goes, "You're fucking betraying me. I can't believe it. You behind my back, you stab me in the back." I go, "Jack, get over it." I go, "You pay me? Are you going to pay me anything?" This is where I go, "You don't give me a fucking dollar." Yesterday, somebody gave me two $50 super chat, said to give it to me, and you turned to me right on air. You know you're not fucking getting this, right? And I'm like, "Yeah, I know, John. I know how tight ass you are." So I got to make Ernie. So if they're going to pay me to go on, did you hear me talk bad about you? Did you see when they bait me, I reversed it? I'm not going to do you wrong. And then finally, he goes, "I'm okay with it, because I know you're not going to mess me up." And I would have stuck. I would have been loyal to him if he just didn't go the route he went. Could be a whole different ball game today, right now. But I think destiny is destiny, and I believe in my heart that it was destiny for me to see the shitty side of him, and I think I like the way they did it, because Shuli says, "I'll never ask you not to go on his show. I'll never ask you to not be his friend. I can only give you the knowledge of what I'm telling you, what he's capable of." You've heard. Look, everybody came. I mean, I had hundreds of people come up to me and say, email me. And a lot of people say, "Joey, you're not a bad guy, man. What the hell are you doing, man? Do you want to be hated like him because you going over there and doing this? You're making a bad way for you, man." And let me tell you something. I got trolled harder than John being with him. It became a nightmare for me. And I just wouldn't, I kept giving the benefit of the doubt. But I woke up and like Shuey said, he knew I was the type of guy I had to find out for myself. And it's not that I didn't believe nobody. I just had to see that, is he really incapable of blowing every opportunity for someone that's going to be in his corner? And he is. That's the sad part. That man he's got no spine. He's got no. If you and him were trapped in a house and it started burning and he had a chance to pull you out and make you live, he would leave you there. He would leave you there.
Wow.
That's how strong I feel about that. And he would. That's the type of person he is. You can tell his mother spoiled him his whole life. Poor woman, that 87 years old, and she worships the ground he walks on. she made a monster out of him. She really did. And if you ever really get into it, because I think you're the first guy I've ever seen that could really do his mannerisms and really do a good job. So I think as you craft that craft for you, it's a key to watch everything that Uncle Rico did and learn about him, because I think you'll even develop that character better if you know how rotten. Because I think for you, you know, and I'm just speculating. This is my only opinion, that I think you'll be more drawn to the character, because I think that'll really bring it out, because you're a guy that's got a lot of heart to be able to do this. That, for me, I give you props. He's you know, to take on him. that you got a lot of heart, buddy. And
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you really do. And I'm saying that because if he died tomorrow, it would be a party. People would not be celebrating. They would be happy that he died. They really would.
Wow.
And he did a lot of bad things to Shuli. He did Carl. And I started watching some things that Sheet Citizen. Did you get to see that documentary that Sheet Citizen did?
Yeah, that was amazing. I did see it. Yep.
Hey, that's John. That's how John was such a delusional person that when he betrayed Artie, John would be the best at everything in his mind. He knew he couldn't go one-on-one with Artie. Artie was one of the greatest comedians around. So what does he do? He uses the heroin addiction to try to rip Artie apart. He used Anthony Ocumio by just talking so subversive against him. Going to Anthony's home and playing poker 20 feet away from Anthony and trying to get in bed with Missy B. I mean, this guy that's what he does. That's how he is. Go to a poker table and run out of money and borrow money from all the guys at the table. And I'm stuttering John, never pay him back. I mean, show up at work as an intern and call another intern that's below him to pay the cab fare, because that's what he was, a straight con man for everything he did.
Wow.
And when I started seeing this about him, it disappointed me. It really, I got to say, I reflected the last couple of weeks. And I can't say I teared up because, one, I feel sorry for him. No matter what, I still feel sorry for the guy. And I don't know why. But two, I feel sorry for myself that I fell for, that I almost let him hook me to think that he was a good guy. And so I came to the conclusion to myself when I looked in the mirror. Either I'm getting too old or I'm getting really senile quick, that I let my guard down that bad, because he had me really thinking he was a friend. And I take friendship very serious. And another bad choice in my life, trying to get friends with the wrong guy. So, but I'm glad I woke up. And so you got a gift, my friend. If you can get into the soul of him, I think you'll be one of the great ones long after John's gone.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that.
It's my pleasure. Is there anybody else that you do or that you're working on?
I do. Most of the people that I do, unfortunately, they're from the anti-Scientology community, which I'm a part of, which I've never been a Scientologist, but so most of my characters you guys probably wouldn't know. I mean, there's some people in some of our people in the chat, but so I do. I think I told you offline, my character Clearwater Chad, it was gifted to me. It was a parody of someone, like I said, you guys wouldn't know. He's called Tampa Brad, and it was a challenge. It was a challenge for Aaron from Growing Up in Scientology. Put out a challenge for anyone that come up with a character. He gave me the name Clearwater Chad and just do videos, and I was the first one to do it and the one that stuck with it, and everything just morphed from there. And I did that just a character Clearwater Chad for about a year, and then I did all the other characters, and then Stuttering John's probably the first one outside of the community.
Okay. Now, prior to going, now that you do Stuttering, have you brought the character John into your circle of Clearwater Chad, to that community, or do you keep it separate?
Well, no, believe it or not, there's people in the chat here from, that came from, my channel. They watched. Seems like they like it just as well as the regular characters that I do, or the Cornerstone Clearwater Chad. Yeah. So it's interesting to see that there's some crossover there.
That's good. That's good. When I saw the name, I immediately said, "Damn, I'm gonna get to pick this guy up, take him to lunch," because that's when I first came to Florida. That's where I moved to Clearwater. So,
okay.
Yeah. So I was like, man, this guy, he's right here in my neck of the woods here. maybe we'll go have lunch with him and pick his brain, and then when you said, that's just my character, and like I said, that whatever you want to indulge is, I would never want it. You can tell what you want to tell about yourself. We're not here to put out your business, But,
well, I've heard about this. I've heard about the Dabbleverse. You don't want to say too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're very correct. Yeah, you got it very going. The Dabbleverse is not. How can I say it? It's born. The history was that great interview that one day with Chrissy Mayer, where she says, I heard you dabbled in comedy, and John, of course, being the smug asshole that he is, he had to turn it like he's all offended, and she broke his heart, and and of course that's what John does. He'll always make someone feel like shit. He don't care. And I told him one day, because after we had the falling out, the bad Texas started. And I was one of the people that never talked about his children. But when he started getting pretty deep into things, what he was saying about my wife, I threw up one of it. It was against everything I stand for. I texted him something really shitty about his kid. And I felt bad about it, because I'm like, why am I bringing his kid? I don't know his kids, but he just laid on my wife. And I mean, I still haven't, listen, I haven't even came out with anything on John, but one of my phone calls. And I'm getting now with people like, we know you got a lot of stuff on John. Why don't you give it to Carl Schulte? Because they're the ones that'll run with it. And I'm like, first of all, why would I do that? If I ever decided I want to use it, wouldn't it be better that I'm going to wait? And if I decide to unleash it, it's going to be on my channel. It's going to be me to get that exposure. But I'm cross between doing that. I was talking with matter of fact, I talked to Quadfather last night. He called me last night, and we were talking about that. And I'm like, because I got Granny. I don't know if you follow anybody else in Denver. Granny's coming here on a bus Thursday to do a live show in my studio, and so I'm curious why all of a sudden Granny picked me and wanted to come and see me. So of course I see the thumbnail that with BYB. So I get on it yesterday, and I'm like, nothing's gonna change here. So I immediately text Granny and said, this ain't gonna work out, because if this is what you're gonna go with. I said, I don't know if you guys think I'm just dumb, but Quadfather and I talked. He wanted to call me. He says, listen, me and you, we had our differences. We both buried that. He says, listen, I'm not trying to hurt you or anybody have to do anything stupid at your home, because I'm big on being a comic channel, and I take pride in that. And I go, and I know he goes, I know you're a lot more serious, because I'm really not a comedian. That's not something that I do. I never claimed to be. I got mixed up in Dabbleverse. I stepped my feet in the day. It was June 6th, I think, of 2023, and came in like a bat out of hell. And I didn't know nothing about the Dabbleverse. And when I came in, I'll be honest with you, there's a guy in the chat room now, was the only guy about 8, 9, 10 weeks into it that figured out my whole plot, what I was doing. And then he was catch right. I'm an old Howard Stern fan, so I was very adamant on the way Howard Stern built his career. And I use the old playbook, Howard Stern. If you could get 50% of your fans to love you and 50% of the haters will always outrate probably in the ratings more than the ones that love you. And that always intrigued me, because when NBC got that spike and they went through the roof, why, if the haters hate him, why? Because they want most common answer to see what he's going to say next.
Yep.
So
that's why John has an appeal.
That's right. And but I came in, and it was a big crapshoot for me, because I got, not only did I come in like an asshole, I mean, I played it perfectly, and I'll give the credit to, at the time, it was David Skywalker. He just finally he said something in the chat. He goes, "Son of a bitch!" He goes, "It's been right before me this whole time." Very smart guy, and he was the only one that figured it out. So he called me, actually. We talked. He says, "I couldn't understand you, but when I caught what you were," and he knew it, he laid it out perfectly. And I'm going, "Too bad these other guys haven't figured it out." Somebody's like, "Who's this guy? Who's this Joey C?" And I even got thrown off of TSN, and I knew Schulte for quite past before the Dabbleverse. And I did some crazy shit, man. And I'd do anything to get anybody to talk about me. And then, of course, I became the fucking the podcast whore. I'll go anywhere, and the deep trolls hated me. But then I start thinking, why do they hate me? They can just go do what I do and just work like I'm doing. But they found an easier way. They just would attach onto me, and they knew that they could rile me up. They could push my buttons. I'm going to explode. And that's when I started. Still didn't understand. People like, don't you understand that they're riling you up? You understand this? And I'm like, I didn't even know what a fucking troll was. I'm like, that's how green I was. When I even went after another guy that's in the chat because a gentleman that works on our channel came over, Lou's ex-partner, and I attacked Jim Grindle. I didn't know who the hell Jim Grindle was. And he was like, I think he took a step back that day, and he goes, wait a second, I'm coming here to actually troll this guy. And this guy just takes off and goes on me. And I mean, he goes, what's the basis of you attacking me? And Kai told me a story, told me what the guy was doing. And before I checked it out and saw the whole picture, I just said, hey, Kai's with me. I'm about to stick up for my guy that's on my channel. So I attacked Jim Grindle. Long and behold, I think Jim and I never, I don't know what, it was faith, I guess, that stopped Jim from coming really hard at me and me just not to really mess with him. I don't know. Let's say it was just like faith that, I think Jim got a good feeling about me and said, maybe, I'm not going to do what I do to normal people. And I backed off. And I wind up going on the air with Jim and Luke Devine. I used to have a lot of problems with him. And I was wrong on a lot of things with them. Not saying that Jim is not a guy that will tear your life apart. He's good at it. But I misjudged him how I thought he was. And actually, when I got to meet Jim Grindle, for me, I think he's a nice person to talk to. He really is. So I think he's talented. I don't understand why he isn't got some big radio station on Sirius, because he's definitely a radio guy. But he's happy what he does. So, but I was fortunate enough to meet him, and I was glad I did. He got mad at me because he did offer me. I got down to his part of his where he lives, and we were so busy in Swamp, I forgot to call him, and he got a little mad at me. But I'll make it up to him someday. And then then you got people saying, "Oh, why are you talking to that guy? Why are you talking to Rob Sell?" I'm not trying to be Rob Sell's best friend, but I said some pretty nasty things to him. He said a lot of bad things to my wife. So I figured it's better to just start mending the fences. And it don't mean I'm going to go on Rob's every day or I'm going to talk to him, but I'm not going to trash the guy anymore. I'm not going to sit there because Jim's not liked by 100,000 people, and it's going to make me be mean to him because he's really been a gentleman to me. And so that's the problem in the Dabbleverse. That's the first and foremost thing you got to understand is they can do anything they want to you. You can't do anything to them. You understand? That's the attitude of the mentality. That's how it is. You'll sit there and take me, troll you with 10 people, and you'll take it. And you're going to leave when I tell you to leave. But you can't rebuttal back. That's pretty much how the Dabbleverse is. A lot of whining old ladies, and a lot of men that are really become old ladies. And I'm guilty of the same thing. You know what I'm saying? So,
I mean, I'm all in for some good humor, razzing and stuff, as long as people don't try to come to my house and stuff like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's a lot of great people. We have one of the best chat rooms. I take pride. I'm not hitting any big numbers. I don't think I'm even close to being where I want to be. I'll be the first to say, when I look and say, okay, I have 45, 50 people in here, and people have been kind to me since I've been monetized. Very kind. The people that have supported the channel, above and beyond that, it tears you up and it makes you say, as much as the hate that comes at you or the people that ball bust you, there's a lot of good people that you start to feel. You really feel the love that they really got you. And another guy in the chat room who was with me from the beginning when I started my channel, he's the one guy that can rile me up better than anybody. And I mean, he gets under my skin so bad sometimes I want to punch the wall. And that's American Cupcake. And he was one of the first people I ever fought with in the Dabbleverse. We go at it. I thought he was a woman. American Cupcake. Would you think that's a man? I mean, when you first hear that name, and that's the other thing that people say. They said, I thought he was a woman. I'm like, man, I'm getting pretty brutal. I better back off this woman. People really think that I'm a guy that likes to pick on women. And he went with it. The prick went with it to make me think it was, because it was even more. And then finally, as I start learning things, and lo and behold, it was, Bob Levy gave him that name. And there he was. He was on my channel with DG, and we were doing a night show. And that's where we met the ghost of Dean Martin. And then other cupcakes were born. And then his cousins came over from Mexico and Switzerland and wherever else. All these cupcakes came from all over the world. And he's a very talented guy. And but me and him have had some doozies of argument. I think if we could have documented those moments, him and I, we would have a lot of gold to release together, you know. And we
Wow.
just, yeah, yeah. I was an asshole to a lot of people, but a lot of people were an asshole to me. But I came together and I said, listen, I had to make a choice. I can't tell you how many people tried to just break me away from the trolls. Now, you're crazy. You're nuts what you're doing. And just leave them alone. They go away. I go, no, they're not. I tried this. They're not going to go away. They just won't go away. It's not going. The regular method's not going to work. And I went deeper and deeper and deeper. But it was Lou, the guy that when you were waiting for me to come in, my partner here, he's the one that saved the channel. I mean, without a doubt, I owe him everything because for some reason, after him and Kai split up, Lou just can't do a show by himself. He will not do it by himself. So I had a hard choice to make. And I talked to everybody, and it was mostly everybody was leaning for me to keep Lou. And I said to myself, yeah, Lou's the funny one, but Lou's uncontrollable. I made that decision 48 hours in. I said, Lou's too much like me. Lou's too much like me. He's too wild. He's too uncontrollable. When Lou gets pissed off, it's going to be the loose cannon I'm not going to be able to control. And now you got Kai Brancaccio, who I love you, Kai. I love you to death, buddy. Who's more reserved and just more a different character to Lou. So everybody's waiting. What's the decision going to make? What's it going to be? And then, I'm getting I had talked to Lou that, don't worry, Lou, I got you back on this. But then at the end of the day, DG goes, now Lou's in, man. Kai's out. He goes, what you going to, he goes, I know you got final decision, but he goes, everybody's telling you. I go, but I think even Spider said Lou. My wife says, well, I like Lou, he's funny, but I don't know where you're going with this. I said, listen, I think if comedically, Lou would have been at the time. If I was more seasoned and had the channel was already monetized, it might have went differently. Lou might have been just went right into a show. But I thought I'd had a lot of conversations with Lou, and he reminded me too much of me. And that's when I said to myself, Joseph, I was a Sunday and I was in the bathroom talking to myself. My wife goes, this is this hard? I go, this is hard. And she goes, who are you talking to? I go, I'm talking to Lou in the mirror. This is what I said to her.
Okay, good to know. The truth really comes out.
No, I'm just really like one-on-one with you in the bathroom. And I says, nope, you're too much like me. He's just too much like me. He's a loose cannon. He can't be controlled. And she goes, I know what you're doing. You're thinking Lou's a lot like you. Like people try to control you. You're like I get more madder. I said, yeah, I don't know Lou well enough to learn to where I'm at that point to try to control him. And I'd probably be wrong to do that because he'd probably be comical gold. It's like Cabby. I don't know if you knew who Cabby was. That's the guy that John fought in the fight years ago in the boxing ring.
No, well, I didn't hear that.
I was blessed to have Cabby. From when he was first brought to Davos, Rocco El Horrible was the first guy to interview him on Saturday. And then he went to Shuli Network and he did a show. And I kept telling Shuli, and I've been talking to Cabby, and Cabby was he's a great radio guy. Podcasting, I don't think he would have had to have someone with a hammer and a finger on a button and really to preach to Cabby the rules because he's such radio gold. How do you stop a legend to follow the rules that you can't do on YouTube? It's almost an insult. Yeah. And Cabby and I developed a relationship fast and quick, and it was like
with the funny one.
What do you say? You did what with Lou Cannon in the back? I'll tell you in a minute, buddy. And Cabby one day called me at 7 a.m. He goes, he goes, I don't know if you feel this. He goes, but I feel like I've known you my whole life. He goes, I really like you, man. He goes, you've really uplifted me because he couldn't walk anymore. He was struggling being sick, and Cabby, he was a vet. He gave his service to this country, and then Cabby had to go to federal prison because of he went on open radio after the fight and told people he didn't pay taxes on the money he won in a John fight, in which the IRS was watching the show, and he wound up creating a bunch of problems, and they put him in prison for that. And Cabby was struck with people that are deep into drugs. If you've never been a drug addict, it's hard to explain for people to understand. When people are drug addicts for a depth time, it really is a disease. It's really a sickness. It really takes over you and it cripples you. And Cabby was struggling with that back and forth. Um, and then as Cabby, I would have him on and he'd be like, some days he wouldn't be perky and you would see him nodding out or just not into it. And I'm like, Cabby, you all right? You want to go off the air? I don't care, man. And then there was days he's like, what are we doing tonight? Let's fucking do it, man. And he'd be gold. But he would like to drop words he couldn't drop. And I just, am I gonna stop? How am I gonna stop? Ask a legend to stop that and do that. I felt that I would be like this, dissing him. So I wind up. I had to go out and edit those out anyhow because trust me, I had enough haters that would have been their ticket if they got YouTube to date on my channel. But I have those moments that I have for me for my own personal use, and I watch Cabby a lot. But one day I was doing a character. I got this. What's it called? When you could do different characters like sharks and pineapples and all this stuff. So I got this program. It's Anime, I think it's called. And I put the shark and Hackwright had taught me some things. And I just started working the shark behind scenes. And I was doing a shark show. And it was a mixed emotions with people. Some people liked it, but some people couldn't understand it. That everybody knew who I was. And I'm not a comedian. I'm trying to be funny and it's not funny. And I'm like, let me just roll with it. I'm not, I know I'm not, I would never claim to be a comedian. And a lot of people just thought it was stupid. So Cabby came on one day and he calls me, he goes, send me a link. I go, I'm going in the area. He goes, that's what I want to come on with you with this shark guy. And he goes, what the fuck are you doing? He said, this is the worst fucking bit I've ever seen in my life. He goes, first and foremost, you're not being yourself. You're being so phony here with this character. Scrap this shark. And he gave me a lecture. He says, never change who you are for anybody. He goes, this is what I love about you because this is what I was drawn to you is that you're a guy that is likable. You're a guy when you're not trying to be funny, you'll be funny. You got to learn. You got to follow. He goes, don't ever change that. He says, don't ever change. Don't ever let me, when I go to look down and see you changing because you're trying to advance and to be, change your whole format to make it up to the top. You will if you stay naturally. Listen to the people that I know that have got your back, and then we did a great New Year's Eve stream. It was like 5 hours, him and I, and we killed the stream, and he kind of fell asleep, and I went to sleep. I come back 7 hours later, your StreamYard was still up, and there's Cabby. He's still in it. We're off the air, but it's just we're in the back here. And I go, son of a bitch, I go, be on Cabby, wake up. Finally get him up. And then he was always excited. Like he liked to buy things off the internet and he would get them in the mail. And he liked collecting knives, different knives. He goes, man. And one day he was on a roll. He was like 7 in the morning. He's Cabby, I'm in bed, man. And he goes, no, get up. And I got this knife. He's sending me pictures. He goes, I'm on a podcast. I'm going to do it. I got all this equipment. I want you to look at it. We're going to do this. And he was so hyped up to get everything. And then I got that text. I think I was the first one that found out his fiance. She says, I haven't told nobody yet. Cabby, I want you to know Cabby thought of you as one of his best friends, like he knew you his whole life. And I immediately broke down. He says, you don't know the highest regard. And I was just blown away because I felt the same way about him in that short time. And I got so much material with him that I'm going to cherish that for the rest of my days out here because he was gold, man. He was a guy that I really enjoyed. And he was off the wall. I would say, Cabby, tell me about when, did you really let guys blow you? He said, yeah, why not? I felt froggy sometimes, I go, did fucking Ralph ever blow you? He goes, yeah, Ralph blew me a couple times, And it's just the way, and I'm like, are you serious? Was Howard and Ralph an item? He goes, well, what do you think? But, and I go, he goes, no, I'm not going to do that to Howard. You want me to do that to you? He says, oh, I'm not going to tell, but just use your imagination. He'd go like that. And I go, son of a bitch. You always felt that about Howard, that maybe Howard did do stuff like that, but maybe he didn't. I don't know. Because I know Howard protected Ralph all the way to the end. He that was his buddy. And when you're that close, and Howard's a mystery in a lot of ways, it could be possible, but I guess the only one that's going to know is the people that did know that are not here, and Howard and Ralph's gone. So, and it's really, maybe it's something that don't need to be found out, but Cabby would roll with it. He made a porno in the studio. This is, I think, one of the things that got him led to his demise. And he was telling me about the video that he had. This was a big porno that he was getting people wanting to buy this porno. He had it locked down for years. No copies were out there. And he goes, man, you think I should sell this? I go, you know what that thing's worth? I think you're going to get a lot of money for that thing, man. And he never got to do anything. I don't know. I mean, his girlfriend is, who knows? Maybe she threw it away. Maybe she locked it away. I don't know. But I don't think it'll ever come out. He would have got paid big time for that. I think he would have made good money. But then one day when she called, it was just he was gone. And I talked to him a week before, 10 days before, and I felt bad because he kept calling me. The last 2 times he called me, I told him I'll get back. I'm real busy, and I was involved with these trolls real bad, and my wife, I thought she was going to really say, listen, this has got to stop. You got to put this to bed. But she did the opposite. She says, listen, I support anything you do. I love you. She goes, I think you're crazy, but I know you ain't gonna, nobody's going to tell you what to do. You're going to do what you're going to do. You're stubborn. And, whatever, if you need me, I'm here. And then I got the phone call that he passed. So I never got to call him back. And I feel bad for that. But those are some of the guys you want to look at and go back and look at. Crazy Cabbie.
Okay.
He was pure gold. But Stuttering John moments with Howard. Howard, John, when he left to go over to Jay Leno, which he was duped into thinking John was this world famous comedian that he was getting to be his sidekick, and Jay, who was a big time comedian, figured it out pretty quickly that John was a fucking idiot, but he honored his contract all the way to the end, and John
cool.
He's had so much, he stepped in so many golden opportunities that he didn't do right with it. If you talk to John, if John was right here, he'd convince everybody how he had a top fan, how he wrote movies, how he was the best, But when you see, then you got guys like Sheet Citizen, Shuli Egard, and Carl Hemberger, guys like that who destroyed him. And then me and Lou were talking yesterday on Busted Balls, the infamous picture of what we think to be John's real lover. And there it is. And if that don't look like, if you take a look, John had his eyebrows done. You can see kind of like a girlish way. He's got his hair done. He's embracing this man. He's glowing. And I finally think this is the first honest thing that John has let out since this Dabbleverse is this moment right here. It's obviously he's in love with this guy. He has deep feelings for him. And I just want to say that I finally got something to hang on to, that John finally showed me he does have a human side. It's probably the only moment you'll ever see, but hey, at least we got one good human side of him. Other than that, this poor guy don't know what he's in for. Because when John goes to get to be comfortable with this guy, I think John will tear that relationship up. But this is my opinion. I don't know. Is John really come out yesterday with this picture the last couple of days? I think he did. I think I know him well enough to say that. Is he going to probably sue me? Probably. I'll probably get some phone calls here in the next day. Because I'm going to press this hard. I'm going to be an investigative reporter, and I'm going to go and tell my opinion. Stuttering John Melendez is came out of the closet, and he's got happiness in his face. At the end of the day, he's got happiness. So hey, we all deserve a warm piece. We all deserve a warm piece of the sidewalk. Even a dog does. So God bless him if he pulled out of this. Finally showing the human side. A little bit too late, but I think it's something to look into. I think people should really look into it. That John finally came out. And like I told Lou, girlfriend, he's now going shopping with his daughters, and they're having a blast. You know what I'm saying? So, and what can you do? What else can you do? But what's your longevity end game here? Are you going to try to? Are you trying to get where you're going to make this a really good show and go on the road with it? Are you just going to stay with your community and incorporate it to the act you already been doing with the Scientology people? What would you like to see happen?
Well, eventually, I would like to. It might be a few months, maybe in the winter. I would like to go on the road as Stuttering John did and do all the same bits as he did and try to track some of these people down and interview them and keep going with the character. It's all I want to do is be Stuttering John. But in real life, I believe in community work with the community the other community I'm involved with. I believe in. We do a lot of, we call them chatathons based up on my name. We do 10-hour chatathons, telethons to raise money for people in our community with cancer and to help people get out of Scientology. So, in real life, I try to be a good person.
Well, I tell you what, if you develop John the way I think that what I'm seeing you could do, and you're a charitable guy as John, you're going to be loved, pal. You're going to be loved because they're going to see it through you. This is what John would have been like. I think that's great because at the end of the day, I try to be grateful just for being here on this earth, and try not to take anything for granted. I've made my share of mistakes. Don't get me wrong. I'm no saint. I'm not father of the year. I was a better father than I had. I had morals and standards, but I made my share of mistakes. And I lost a daughter a couple years ago. My wife and I went to federal prison. My wife committed an infraction of a crime to the government. I tried to cover it up, and long and behold, we were in federal prison. During that time, my wife's biological daughter, my stepdaughter, who I raised since she was 12 years old, my wife got a phone call. Well, they got a hold of my wife, and the chaplain pulled her out, and her daughter was passed away. And then it was at the time that all the federal outcalls for phones line was down. They took it away from all the inmates because there was in Texas there was a big gang fight, a big gang rally, and a couple people died, and it was with some of the big hitters in there. So they when stuff like that happens, they lock everything down nationally and take away everything. They put you in your cell 23 hours. You get everything stopped. You get no commissary. You get no travel. You don't get to go outside. You get no yard. It's just, this is their way of punishing you until they get. And I believe what happened with this one is they had to go to, I think the Supermax. From what we heard throughout the prison system, that from other guards and stuff, and what we're allowed to hear, because a lot of times they don't even want you to watch news or have a newspaper. You do have that because guards are always going to be easily influenced to the shot callers that they're going to get their newspapers. They're going to have their news. And it came down that the way they got a lid on it was they went to the Supermax where they had one of the biggest gang leaders for one of the gangs that were fighting, and they cuffed them all up, with chains and bulletproof vests. They helicoptered him to the facility where all this was happening, so he could personally stop his gang members from making a move on retaliate, because there was going to be a big round. This would have been a chain reaction that a lot of people got killed. So they told him, "You have no choice in this, or we'll make your life even more of a hell of a hell. You're going to go to talk to your guys. You're under a very guarded guards with guns all over you, and you're going to stop this." And he did. So he told his guys to stand down and don't retaliate, which then was good for us because 10 more days later, everything opened up. Well, long and behold, one of the things in prison that you're not supposed to have, that if you know the right people, you can have a cell phone. That's contraband. And if you get caught with a cell phone, in federal prison, it's called the shoe. In state prison, it's called the box. Well, either way, either one you don't want to be to, because the shoe in federal prison, you're not even allowed to have underwear. You're not even allowed to have socks. You can't take a blanket. You're on a thin piece of, not even a mattress, with the air conditioner blowing on you at full speed, where you're shivering, and you don't come out of your cell. You got to shower there. No hot water at all. No soap, no nothing. They make you have a living hell.
Feels like the hurricane days.
It's brutal. So if you get that treatment, and the worst part of federal, and at least in the state, they'll say, "Well, you violated a rule. We find you guilty. We're putting you 30 days in the box, 15 days in the box." Federal, if they don't like you, they'll keep you there 90 days. And if they really don't like you, that's when you get woke up at 3 a.m. and they're telling you to get dressed, and the shackles come in, and it's dark out, and you go get in the back of a van, and you're wondering, where are we going? You're going on Con Air, baby. We're going to run you all over the United States today. The fuck with you. You want to fuck with us? Guess what? You're getting a taste of Con Air tonight. And these are stories you hear. Guys says, them motherfuckers took me 2,000 miles away from my family so I had to have visits, kept me there for a week, enough for me to get in trouble and almost get killed. And then they go back at 3 a.m. and go, "You like it here? Now we're taking it to another worse." This is what they do. This is what they get pleasure doing. And you're not a human being under their eyes. And you got to work for 10 cents an hour. You got to work in a federal prison, building desks, whatever. A lot of prisons make desks, and the walls, the cubicle things for the offices, where they make the cubicles. That's one very big. They make the profit level that the federal government makes with the work they do for the contract they have. and you get 10 cents an hour. That's it. That's what you get. And that don't get you nothing. Trust me. It'll take you, if they decide to pay you, you probably got to work 2 months. And then maybe they'll say, okay, sign this. We're going to process you. And you'll get your first maybe 100 hours. You'll get 10 cents. You do the math. And then, and then if you owe money, they'll take it anyhow. So you're like a work mule. So they're just, I was told by people, it ain't about what you got. It's about taking away your family, your worldly possessions. You want to mess with the government? This is what happened. So that's just what happened. So, for me, it was a learning experience. My wife, it was a little harder, but we lost our daughter. And I'm talking to Shuli, and he's listening to me. He goes, you're nuts. Do you realize that the Dabbleverse is comedians, and you want to come and tell your life story to my show, and you think we can't? And I'm going to be telling him, don't laugh at him. Don't laugh at him. We can't make jokes of this. This guy's he's a friend of mine, and it went bad. It went bad. And Shuli goes, all right, buddy, we'll have you back out again. And then he just called me that night. He goes, I told you this was a bad idea. He goes, you know how hard it was that these guys wanted to just attack you, and they wouldn't have been attacking. They would have tried to make a joke out of it. He goes, now, and then I kept going on and telling my personal life and and it got as I gave it out, it just got worse and worse. But my intention was I wanted to get my soul back. I wanted to put some life back in my soul, is how I was trying to deal with the loss of my daughter. And it probably would have worked if I didn't land in the Dabbleverse, but it did. And but I'm still alive. I'm surviving.
Well,
so
Joey, your story is good enough to get on Matt Cox's true crime podcast if you wanted it.
Yeah, I do a prison podcast. I started out with the right intention. The problem is that when you get these people out of prison, once they hit the streets, they're hard to, especially to go back to their ways. Tracking them down after they tell you, I'll be on your show Friday. Forget it. I can't. You got to go set a search squad out for them. So I kind of hadn't do one in a while. I just did one with a guy by the name of Green Boss the other day, which was pretty good. And but yeah, I'm definitely at best I really want to. I am part of the Dabbleverse. That's something that I don't think like Bob Levy was telling me today. He goes, the problem if you go and do this baseball show, because it's a great idea the way Gunzo, who put it together and it showed me what he thinks, and I laid that on Bob Levy, Shuli, and Carl. And they said, but Carl's right away said, listen, it would work, but you're instilled in the Dabbleverse. It's not going to work for you because you're going to get all the Dabbleverse founders who don't like baseball. It's a dead issue at the ball game. He goes, so you kind of past the time on this. He says, so either what are you going to do, disappear and just come back in a couple years and start all over? He goes, it's just this Dabbleverse. They don't give a rat's ass about baseball. So
not one day.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't believe Lou spent it. Terry Needs a good guy.
Okay, we need to flip the grip. We got to flip it to start, drilling Chad.
Oh, well, that's why I need you here. You're good at this too.
But it's so hard to interrupt you.
Just tell me to shut up. That's all I told you.
Okay, here you go. Shut the fuck up.
No, your stories are interesting though. Like I said, I don't know if you're familiar with Matt Cox, but he spent some time in federal prison for mortgage fraud, and he interviews people. He interviews people that have been in prison. I think you have a good story. I know him. I know him in real life. I met him in Florida, so I could at least try to connect you if you want to him.
Yeah, that'd be good. So let me take the focus off me, which I just love to talk. I love to talk. I could talk around.
We know this. It's like, goddamn, I stepped away for 10 minutes. You're on a story about me.
I apologize. I'm working on his flaws. I'm trying hard to work on his flaws. Like, you're right. Let's focus more on
Chad.
Right. But see, I keep hearing Carl and them in the back. It's when you got guests, it's a crapshoot. Don't let them take control of your show. Make sure you don't let them take control. And Bob Levy told me that. I'm like, okay, so I got to just interview him. Carl's like, ask the questions, let him come out with it. So I'm learning. So I apologize for that. Lou.
What I did was start all the fucking questions that were asked at chat. So many comments here to go back.
I think it's going great, folks.
Thank you. I apologize. I'm not trying to outshine anybody. It's me. I really lose the fact you're there and he's there, and I just go into my story. And that's how I black myself out. I just, it's me. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lou. I'm going to take a 2-minute break here. You go ahead.
What do you want me to do? I'm not the interviewer here. Shit.
Well,
I will take over this whole show right now.
there we go. We're gonna take a. All right, let's go back to the chat here. Now this is funny.
All right,
see, this-
you know what? Here we go. Chatters, whoever has a question for Chad, we will now truly address them because, we're going to censor Joey.
Yes, yes.
We're going to keep him quiet.
I apologize to all the people that are here to support.
45 minutes of the show, just been Joey yapping away.
I just want the folks to know one thing before we continue. It's only take a few seconds.
Sure.
I have never had sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky. I never asked anyone to lie, not a single time. I have to go back to work for the American people. Thank you, folks.
Okay, Bill.
I admire you.
Okay, Terry Nee wants to know what's Chad's story.
All right, that's a good question.
I'll give you the 30-second version. I don't want to bore anyone, but I've never done anything really creative in my life like this. I came from the chat of the anti-Scientology movement. Well, first I'd watched all the documentaries on Scientology, and I just thought it was crazy, to be honest. No offense to anyone with Scientology, I don't judge, but and Aaron from Growing Up in Scientology came up with a challenge for anyone to do a parody of someone called Tampa Brad with the name of Clearwater Chad, and I did it. I rolled with it. That's why I started out with the shirt, and I did that character for about a year, and then I started doing other characters. I started parodying like Matt Cox. That's how I'm connected to him. And a lot of the other ones are just Scientologists, and now here we are with Stuttering John. That's a pretty new one. So it's new. So I do have to refine that and keep going with it.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
That's a good question, Terry Nee. Thank you. And I always expect top-notch questions.
So, Cholino wants to know, has Chad talked to Leah Remini?
Oh,
Remini, whatever
no, that's the lady from Kings and Queens, the actress.
No, I haven't gotten that far up the chain. I have spoken to one of the bigger creators in the anti-Scientology movement, Aaron Smith Levin, and a lot of other people, but I haven't gotten up to Leah yet.
Now, I'm pretty familiar with Clearwater and Scientology, and correct me if I'm wrong. It all started with one man, Ron L. Hulbert, right? Correct. He's the
that's correct. Yep.
Right, yeah. Dianetics, I believe the book was, and I worked in pro baseball, but I drove a taxi, so I was always in the downtown area, which Scientology owns everything from the beach all the way up to 19 now. I believe they own every piece of property there is. They're very smart with buying a property, but I got the chance to talk to a couple of them people, and I believe I was told by one of the people that had just became a South that would decide that it was interested, wanted to join, that he had to get a divorce. They can't be married. They have a certain building on Keene Boulevard, these apartment complexes that they fence them in with their own buses. They work like they work morning to night. They get Thursday night is movie night for them. They get bused to the movies. They can't date. Only the people that can be married are the higher ups. They're allowed to be married, but all the workforce cannot have a girlfriend or have a wife. This guy gave up his family, just went home and divorced his wife and joined Scientology. And when he come and I go, just like that, he goes, no, I'm with Scientology. I didn't understand it. And is that my right? Am I on the right track here? Is that pretty much-
Yeah, that's pretty much accurate. Absolutely. It's very oppressive. It's not something you'd want to get involved with or even try it as a joke, folks.
Yeah.
They'll suck you right in.
Yeah.
What do you think of John Travolta?
John Travolta was good in the 70s, in my opinion. That's about it. Was Welcome Back, Kotter and Grease. That's the last time I've seen a John Travolta movie.
Well, let's not forget Saturday Night.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that was good, too.
Yeah.
Okay, you didn't watch Face Off, bro?
No, sorry.
Oh,
no disrespect to anyone that likes this stuff.
You need to go back and watch that one.
Okay.
I thought Face Off was good. That was a good movie. I got to say.
That's one of his better movies. Him and Nicolas Cage.
Yes. I think his biggest flop was playing John Gotti. Biggest mistake that Junior ever made of getting John Gotti to play his father. And of course, Stuttering John has tainted that movie because he said he was a consultant on that. So now we know why it went bad.
Stuttering John probably owns the rights to the movie. Am I right?
Well, he has that shitty movie. I forgot what it was. That was really bad. And,
So failed science fiction writers make a religion.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
yeah, it's deep, man. That's
Do
Scientology.
you do an impression of Joey C?
People keep asking me about it. I'll have to study him. I haven't yet. I'm still, like I said, pretty new with the Stuttering John character.
Yeah. Yeah. To imitate me, there's two people that they do two different
It
things.
sucked for you, but it was a good movie.
Which one?
He says Face Off sucked.
Oh, he didn't like it.
He
I
didn't
actually
like
like
it, but
Face Off.
that's
I
his
liked it.
opinion.
Gotti was his worst movie. I think because they could. Here's the biggest mistake I think made when he took Gotti, is he came out of
Exactly.
right at the time of playing one of the most dominant gangsters, and I think it was a slap in the face to the Gotti family, knowing that Travolta liked men, and now it's too late. They're deep in, and John Travolta's playing his dad, and everything went bad with it, So it was terrible.
Okay, look, half of Hollywood likes men.
I understand that. I'm just
Half
saying.
of Hollywood is bisexual. You know what a
That's
person
true.
does in their closet is their prerogative.
Yeah, you're correct. I more power to him, but I'm just saying, Cupcake made an opinion on Face Off, and I'm just saying I think his worst movie was when he would try to play Gotti. That's all.
But see, I'm trying to remember who. I think Movie Pass promoted that movie heavily because I think they had a stake in that movie.
Yeah.
And you couldn't pay me to watch that god awful movie.
Horrible.
Like the trailers alone didn't sell me, and I like me some gangster movies. But
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad. Yeah, because when he came out, I mean, he was married to Kelly LaPresta, one of the beautifulest women in Hollywood, and of course she died, and then his son died because of that. A lot of people question him that he let his son die because of the fate of the Scientology. Now, were you involved with Scientology back then in the community when John Travolta went with believing that he could have got his son all the best help? I believe they were in the Bahamas and he didn't. And a lot of people said that he let his son die because he believed in something that was never going to happen. I don't know. I don't know the backstory of it. I'm just going what I read and heard in the news media.
I don't know the backstory either. I hope that's not true, but I don't. Yeah, I just hope it's not true.
Yeah, I know he's got a lot of money in Scientology. He was one of the biggest money people in the Scientology. Him and Tom Cruise, I knew that. So,
yeah,
and Christy Alley but the person they asked you about, the Leon Rhymes, I think her name is not Rhymes, but I don't know how to pronounce her name.
Remini, yep.
Remini. Her mother was high ranked. Her mother's high ranked because I saw her interview, and she even said her mother was no help to her. When she got punished, when they made her come to Clearwater. She said they put her in a room for hours, and her mother was so deep into it, and her mother would not go against anything of policy or rule. And it was interesting when I saw that interview. But she told some wicked stories about Scientology.
Well, it seems wicked. You got a bird?
I mean, there's birds outside in the yard. I don't have any birds inside.
Okay.
Thank you for the question, though.
So I was like, Now, John's airport house is near the Daytona area. I thought that house was in California.
Who are you talking about? John's?
John Travolta.
No, he is in Ocala. In the community where it was a plane. It's right outside of Ocala is where his house was, where the community where the planes pulled right up to the door, and he's responsible for it. Yeah, it's right on the outskirts of Ocala. That's where it's at.
Okay. Yeah. I always thought it was out west.
Now he has several places, but his main big plane that he has, it pulls right up to his front door. The runway, and the whole community is like that. Everybody's got a 747, 727, just parked like a car. You know what I'm saying? Except he comes out and gets in his plane.
So instead of parking your Ferrari, you just park your plane.
Park your plane. Yeah, they got their own private airport, their own private runways. Takes them to their homes, and it's right outside of Ocala. You actually could go out there, and you could get fair enough, close enough to see. But of course, it's gated, and the only way in is the runway. And then they could drive out privately through their back roads, but you can get close enough to see it. You know what I'm saying? So if you know where to go.
So Pineapple wants to know: can we have a Clearwater classic John impression? Don't mention my fucking kids, dudes.
I mean, I'll try. I mean, it's hard to do on the fly. Listen, I have to think of something to. 6,000 images, folks. 6,000 images. the shitware. He knew. I want to know when the shitware knew. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm still out in the open why John hasn't. Something's just not a fit here. He has not even said nothing. Obviously, he did come back Monday. He didn't. I don't see nothing for today. You never know. He might just pop up today. Who knows? But that did throw me for a loop. Why he hasn't said nothing? What's his game? He's got something that is going to fuck up for him. I can guarantee you that. Someone's either trolling him right now, and he thinks he's got the case cracked, and he's going to come out and fall so deep on the fucking ground with this. It's almost I could see this happening today or tomorrow.
I'd like to see. I'd like to know what he thinks of my content. Like if he wants to sue me or something crazy like that.
Well, I think probably the first thing goes.
Don't even think he knows about your content.
Yeah. If he did, I think.
Oh yeah, I know. Not yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? We could probably force it into his life if you like. If you wanted us to, I'd be glad to do that. I'd terrorize him all day and night.
I'd like him to know about it and see if he wants to sue me
Put
or.
together a tape, and I'll make sure he gets it. I'll make sure he will see that tape because he can't resist. He won't resist anything. All you got to get it to him and put a note with it saying, "This guy is tearing you up, buddy, and he's coming for you." And he'll fucking be like this, and he'll come. Believe me, he'll make a comment about it.
So who is your favorite person in the Dabbleverse?
I mean, it's definitely Stuttering John.
Yeah. He is the devil, that's for sure.
He's the Duke. He's the man.
Yeah,
he's the one.
He's the Duke. Yeah,
He's
he is the one.
He's
the goat. And I was the baby goat. And
see, that was the dumbest title yet. What is he the goat of?
I don't. He was off the wall with shit, man. He just ran with it. He thought he was making. He would go. I got Shuli. I guarantee you, Shuli's talking to himself. I go, John. Shuli don't. You're losing miserably here because you don't learn to duck and listen and learn. You're so stupid. I used to tell him. I hang up on him. One day I hung up on him 5 times. You coming on today? I said you late. What are you doing? I'm not coming on today. Kiss my ass. Leave me alone. 4 or 5 days in a row, I didn't go on. I stood away from him. I couldn't. I was so irate with him. Shuli goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "I got to stay away from him a couple of days." I'm telling you, he's driving me insane. I can't. I just can't. I was that frustrated with him. He could do that very well. He'll nub you down to where you're fucking doing what he wants, or he's fucking gonna chew you up. Go to ringworm. Gary Nee, I like that one.
He's to go to ringworms.
I came up with a fantasy. I don't lose by agree with me. But some people that everybody's like, how does his mother really? Here's the thing. I think he goes home to his mother or talking on the phone and tells him, "Mom, I'm still an A-list actor. They love me." And he feeds her all this bullshit. That's why they're calling you, Ma. They heard I was coming to your house. I believe he's got her convinced, and she's naive enough to believe it.
And he keeps allowing that shit to happen. He's just a honest to God piece of dog shit.
He would sell. For money anything he had.
Well, you just proved it. He sold a fucking picture of his kid to TMZ for $300. That is like disgusting. Like, are you that hard up for money?
That's why his wife is very cautious with it. He's very prejudiced when he tells you, I like black people. He's so burnt that his children were raised by his wife Susanna got married to a very nice guy, and John is like I said, I'm not going to say no more because I got so much dirt on this guy, and I'm going to wait till see if I make it or break it in this dabbler, and then I'm going to come out.
You want to make it just?
It ain't ready yet. It ain't time.
Breadcrumbs. This guy deserves to be.
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. It either goes to the grave with me, or I'm going to wait till I get to the status I want to be, and then I'll unleash it. Otherwise, I'm not going to do it.
Score!
It was a barbecue restaurant.
That is a big tall boy. Boy of water.
How do you like that? Have you seen how when he spits and he foams at the mouth?
So,
it's pretty.
What are your favorite mannerisms of John?
That's why I did that. I just seen the comment. This when he drinks the beer and yeah.
I remember DG telling him, John, you got snot coming out of your John. He don't give a shit. He'll fucking right on his fucking shirt like that. I mean, nasty as hell, man. His fingernails one day had so much caked dirt in them.
Oh, boy, I thought you were about to say had some shit on him. I was like, this motherfucker.
Well, you could really see days where he didn't take a shower every day. When he was running the beard, what's the fucking beard for? I'm supporting the Writers Guild. You know I'm with the union, and I'm just until they push that up. I'm gonna go get new headshot. I go, John, you look like shit, you know? And he just, fuck you, okay? You do what I tell you. I'm like, okay, John, here we go. He would literally tell me, you're gonna come on today. You're gonna just go with me. You're gonna tell everybody how you were wrong, how you're sorry, how you worship me, and that you'll never do that again. I said, fuck you. Goodbye. I hung up on him. I ain't doing that. There's no way I'm doing that. I couldn't look myself in the mirror if I did that to him. I couldn't do it. No way.
Do you know Frankie McDonald?
I don't, unfortunately, no.
Frankie is he's that one with the guy that he's kind of tied up. He's got to end with Compound Media, doesn't he?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's the one that got El Haribe struck, right? Not a couple months ago.
I don't know about any of that. I just know Frankie McDonald he's an interesting character.
Yeah, he is. He really
He's
is
an interesting individual.
He is. He's got a lot of heart. I give him that. He's got a lot of heart.
I think you could pull him off really well if you decide to go into your backyard and start just making a fire engine sound.
That'd be great.
Or just saying the weather, it's cloudy with a chance of spaghetti and meatballs and all that other weird shit.
Here's a good one. Another question. Mike, shitty internet provider. He brings up a good point. You know, I'm sure this is probably a lot of people are mixed feelings. Mike, shitty internet. Chad, do you think John is using drugs?
I think any allegations that the ultra legendary Stuttering John uses drugs are absolutely false.
I don't think he's a drug user. I just know he's a bona fide alcoholic.
Yeah,
No.
That's his drug, alcohol.
Yeah, that's his first choice. He's definitely an alcoholic. But
the Coors Light isn't that bad, guys. Just so you guys know.
Well, no, right. I mean, but it takes for a small guy. He could pack that beer in. He could walk through probably 20 beers and not stagger. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty impressed for a small guy that he could pack that in. But he's done it for so long. I think he's just immune to it. But I'm going to say that he's done a lot of cocaine in his life, and I'm going to even go as far to say he's probably still dabbling in a little bit because, you know,
that's an expensive habit.
Yeah, but you got to understand, John knows how to manipulate money. He does want to do that.
You can't manipulate the drug dealer. The drug dealer will whoop your ass if you don't pay him up after a while.
Right, but
they come.
I'm going to say this: Vince never denied it or confirmed it. The weekend in AC, he just said, "Let's just say for a fact there was a lot of mirrors flying around certain parts of that room, and a lot of people were jacked up pretty good." But I don't know who was doing it, so I got to believe that if he's able to get to it, not at his expense, of course, but if he's around people that I think he would be right in there with the straw or whatever it is and doing it. I would say yes.
The rolled up $100 bill.
Yeah, or would he go out and is he got a habit daily where he's scoring? No, I don't believe that either. I believe he's way past that. So no, in that respect. But I think if he wanted it, he's going to go around the people that he knows going to have it. You know, and I think then yes, he'll do it. But, you know, he's got to start thinking about. He don't look right to me when he was you know, there was days that you saw his skin color that, you know, possibly maybe he's got cirrhosis of the liver. You know, he claims he's healthy. You know, who knows?
Oh, we know for a fact his liver is fucking gasping for air with all the alcohol he drinks. Yeah. Chad, what do you think of John's choice of hair dye? Do you believe it was an accident that it was painted black?
No, that wasn't an accident.
That's a good question. I think it looks good. I'm not sure, but I'm not sure.
John goes in the house.
Right there, that's right there. Ron Bibe. I think that sums up John. Definitely alcohol, some type of Xanax, Klonopin. Klonopin is kind of like the Xanax family a little bit. Edibles, I don't know not really much about them. And whippets, I see John being a big whippet guy back in the day. No doubt about that. That's a good call on that one. You just could tell. You know, you could tell.
His problem is more about the energy drinks, Calliope, and beer and Slim Fast. So I think Stuttering John is around coke. He does it, but doesn't go out of his way to go get it for himself.
That's exactly what I said. He won't be the guy to go score every day. I got to get a gram. I got to go see the guy. I don't think he's that. But I promise you, if he's in a room and he's out hanging, it's there. He's dabbling in it. I guarantee you that.
It's an expensive habit, so I know.
Donzo, what's up, buddy?
Doing it like that. Clearwater chat impressions are spookily accurate. Are you from the same area as John? No.
No, I'm not. I'm from Buffalo, New York. Thank you very much, Pineapple. Really appreciate it.
I think another question is how long have you been a fan of Stutter? How far back in your life does this go? The whole. I know you said your brother introduced you to the character, but did you know anything about it prior to when your brother showed you Stuttering John?
Right. It's been very. It's only been a few months, so I've had very little time to really get his, in my opinion, character down.
Wow, man, that's impressive, man. That impresses me because I was thinking maybe along like maybe at some point you were a fan of his and you followed him, and then your brother just came up and said, "No, I think you can pull this off," But you just did wrong.
Yeah, I think my brother was kind of telling me the other way, like you don't, you might not want to get into this, and I was like, I don't know, I think I have to do the character, I was,
You felt it. I mean, I obviously could see it I could see it all over you when you finally.
And I don't want to stop. Thank you. I don't want to stop doing it. It's like because people keep talking about other characters. I'm like, no, this is it right now. I go in my.
You want to master this down to the T. I can see it in you.
Yeah,
really mastering this. I really see this, and there's nothing wrong with it because I think if you, and I don't think anybody does it. I don't think I've heard anybody going out and trying to be him. I think you got something here. If you could master him and get everything down to his mannerisms, to his dress, to him how he does this shit he does, and put that into something, I think it could blow up big for you. Personally, that's just my opinion.
Thank you. People should watch the ones where I go out like on the sidewalk, like on the bad part of town, and like just go out and walk the streets and say, oh, I'm so great and all that stuff. Yeah. Stuttering John.
If you're gonna be Stuttering John, you got to be able to understand. You're gonna tell everybody how great you are. That's the first and foremost you got to learn. Go ahead, Lou.
So, Chad, what do you think about Gilbert Gottfried being a better person in bed than John? There was a girl they both had sex with that admitted Gilbert was better. Wow.
Well,
I love Mike.
That's a loaded question because I have to be on John's side if I play Stuttering John. So I don't believe Gilbert Gottfried is better than John at anything.
I got to tell you something that take this with a grain of salt. John gets very serious about finding things out. He wants to find out people and doing it and going and making a joke on air. But I'll tell you what now, for 100% fact, and I've said this before, it gets really scary when John calls you off camera and wants to press you how big your package is and gotta know.
Oh.
And he put me in a pretty couple awkward positions. I'm like, John, do you realize what you're asking me? This is getting too weird for me, man. And he would do every angle to find out. He had to know. He had to know details about my sex life with my wife. What is she like? Are you hung? Just tell me, are you hung? And I'm like, John, I think you're crossing the line. I'm just not. I'm going to end this conversation. It weirds me out when he would do it on air, but it's really weird when he calls you in the morning and he's on that subject, And I just.
Are you serious? He would call you in the morning and be like, "Yo, Joey, did you?"
He did it a couple times. There was 3 incidents where he tried to find out 3 different incidents where he was flirting with my wife on air, and he kind of went at her with questions like, is he good in bed? Does he give it to you in the ass? And I went. She said she should go like this to me. I can handle him. He's a pushover, and she handled because my wife is very private, and she would have dusted John if he'd have kept telling her. But yes, he did. He made it weird. He did.
All right, so I'm going to tell Tubby something.
All right,
Tubby, Pat, we don't criticize Stuttering John. Grindle is here, works with Rob. No one gives a fuck about Rob Saw. Also, he did not discover me, Tubby. I've been doing this before I even met Grindle. Get your fucking facts straight. God damn, you fat fuck. Always spreading shit you don't fucking know, you dumbass.
Yeah, it's part of that. It's just part of the Dabbleverse that Lou goes back with a lot of these people.
But he's not even a part of the fucking Dabbleverse. He was a compound media freak.
Right.
Love fucking Gino Bukkake and Anthony Dupia.
If we want to talk about Stuttering John, we're going to talk about Stuttering John. So
seriously, don't come in here telling people what they can and can't do.
And I respect Rob Saul. I made my peace with him, but it don't matter to me if Rob Saul was with John 24 a day. If I got something to say, I'm going to say it. So. And I think that Rob Saul's smart enough to realize You know,
Morning,
shows me respect. I'd be an idiot to go tell somebody that. Rob Saul can have him. I hope he marries him. I mean, I wish that someone would take him out of here and put him in bed. But I've been very quiet about John. I get people all day. What? Come on, give me something. Give me something. I'm like, I gave the one thing out, and I didn't want to put out, and I should have done it. But Quad, like I said, he called me yesterday because I was upset about how they were getting a list together for Granny to do in my home, and I was very upset. But that's not going to happen. Nobody's going to come to my home and try to do things that's going to be hurtful to me or my family. And Granny says, "Listen, you know me. I'm pretty straightforward." And I worked it out with Granny. I said, "You know what? I'll pick you up at Thursday when you get in, and we'll have a good time." And Quad just wanted to tell me that he if I took it the wrong way, he was sorry, but he was doing it more for his fan base, hyping him up, and I do get that. But that was all.
Right, so let's try to decipher Cupcake's voice to chat, because he just put goddamn voice to chat. Those questions from John are because he learned from Howard Stern.
Okay.
The difference, Howard Stern head charming starting John. That's where it
Jones.
gets a little tricky. The difference, Howard Stern head start.
Yeah, I'm not following you.
I don't know.
Is it pertaining to what I'm saying about how John? Because we all know John tries to think he's Howard. I mean, that's obvious. But and Cupcake he's got a lot of knowledge. But
I'll be right back.
I know Cupcake in the back of his mind's got to question the fact that is John really like Ben? You know what I'm saying? Any way, shape, form is that part of it? So let me get this out of the way. Mike V, thank you for the $1.99. Clearwater Chad, we love you. You're a hit. People are liking you, brother. And,
thanks a lot, Mike V.
That was nice to say. And when I saw that with Pineapple, and I'll give credit to Pineapple. This is how I discovered you, So I will give that to him, because when he kind of saw that I was a little off my rocker yesterday, he quickly got out of me and went to you. And when I saw you, I go, I gotta talk to this guy. It just intrigued me right away, because like I said, I don't think I've heard of anybody trying to be Stuttering John. And I think the right person, and then I could see your how dedicated you are to this, that you really want to craft John and not worry about other characters. And I think, we might be able to, man, oh man, there's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, I know. I want to keep working with you guys if you want to. This is fun.
There's a lot of possibilities here that I'm seeing, because if you could become Stuttering John, oh my God, think what we could go to the levels in the Dabbleverse with this. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's fun doing it,
Well, yeah, this is fun. I got a lot of things floating in my head right now that just came to me like a bat out of hell. But I'll have to go to my consultant. I think after we're done here, I'm gonna go call my consultant, and I'm gonna introduce you to somebody.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell them about you, and I'm gonna tell them to come and talk to you, and just to hear you out. And first of all, I'm gonna get this to him immediately. This show, you talking to us, and give it to them so they can show Shuli and Carl as well, because I think there's something here, and if I could be part of something that could be good, really good, and even if I'm just on the sidelines helping and giving you opportunities to just meet the fans, I'll do my part. Believe me, I don't want nothing out of it, but to be able to have good ratings for having you on, and maybe they come up with a master plan here. I don't know.
And I do want to say thank you for disconnecting that I'm not the real. Sometimes people have a hard time in the other community that even though I'm doing a parody of someone, they still have almost like they can't separate it.
Imagine if we could make them think you are Stuttering John and make it really believable.
Some of my characters, you do have the people. I'm not sure if it happened with Stuttering John. No, it did happen, because I met with a guy that did think that I was Stuttering John. At least he said
I'll give you a big secret, that if you ever get to down here to Florida, and I don't care where you live. I want your business. Nobody needs to know that. But if you ever get down to Tampa, Cape Coral is about 150 miles there. It could be very easily, you could bump into John every day by just sitting at the bar of his favorite bar and not even let on. You could jerk his chain off so good and learn him. That would be one way. It'd be like you're in school sitting next to John for a couple of weeks at the bar.
Well, there's a possibility that I will do that, because I went down to Florida last winter for my other character, and I'm thinking about saving up my vacation time and coming back this winter.
I would tell you, I think it would be big for you. You could sit right with this son of a bitch right at the bar, talk up a conversation with him. And, like, I think the best angle would be a couple of days into it, like, I'm sorry, sir, I don't mean to stare at you, but you look really familiar to me. You got to hit him with, you just look like somebody that was real famous. I can't get a grip. And you go, oh my God, you're the famous Stuttering John. You will have him melted right there, and you will be in, and you can really, and I mean, tape every fucking conversation you can to craft your craft, because I think this is something big that we're on. I think.
Thank you so much. I love those shows that they go on the streets and they're asking, "Do you know who Stuttering John is?" And they're like, "Never heard of him."
Yeah, because if you ask him, everybody knows me. Everybody. I went to the bar, took all these people, and I had 25 people in line say, "They're Stuttering John." That's just him. And he's the guy that'll go into the bar and say, "Hey, how you doing? I ain't been here in a while. You know who I am, Stuttering John from Howard Stern." And then they go, "Oh, Howard Stern, Stuttering John," and then they're gossiping. And then by the time John manipulates the whole thing, he makes it look like 50 people he walked in were happy to see Stuttering John. That's how he does it. That's him all the way. But Cape Coral is not that big of a place, and he's got a couple places he goes to. He'll be very easy to track down. Very easy.
I'll try to come down this winter, like I said.
Yeah, like I said, I know Cape Coral pretty good, and I've been wanting to go up and just to sit down, go to the bar, and just sit there and maybe put on a wig or something and not let him know it's me, and just kind of like be a guy that don't want to be bothered if he tries to strike conversation, but just to fucking then a couple hours into it is take the fucking thing off when he's a little humiliated and say, "Hey, asshole, you got something to say now?" Just to fucking see his reaction. That's what I want to do. I've been wanting to plot. I'm going to probably do this. I mean, I went to his house. He was home. Bad intel. They said he was in town and he wasn't there. But I'll do it. I don't want to fight John. I don't want to hurt John. I just want to get to see, is he going to really fucking backpedal and say, "Holy fuck"? Or is he going to fucking go and give me a hug and say, or is he going to say, "Oh, you here? You want to fight? Let's go outside." It could go one of three ways. And I'm going to laugh in his face because I go to tell him, I say, because that's what I tell my wife, to tie my one hand behind my back and fucking tie my feet together, and then I'll go outside with him. And
I don't think he's actually gonna fight, but yeah,
no, I don't think so either. Because I don't want to hurt. I don't want to fight with nobody. I want to just see that reaction, that goldness. How is he going to react? Is he going to go take a back pedal and try to fucking fast talk me? Hey, buddy, I don't mean none of that stuff. I always loved you, Or is he going to say? Is he going to get in my grill and say, "You got something to say to me, asshole"? Or is he just going to say, "Come on, I'll buy you a drink. I don't drink, John. Let's go ahead. Let's eat some lunch." And he's going to say, "You're going to pay for it, right?" That's what would be the first word. I just think the reaction would be good. I could easily get to him. I'm only an hour and 20 minutes from him. So, and I just really want to see the reaction for me. That's just a person.
Yeah, I'd be interested in that. Yep.
But for you, I think that's right on the money. He would be if you just made him feel like he was the king, and you were on a 2-week vacation. I think you would. Oh my God. He would be so easy. You would run him, and I mean, you got to go deep. You got to make him think you're his best friend, and and I'm sure a lot of people in this Dabbleverse could educate you on some really facts that John might try to see how good of a fan you are. She's tricky like that. He'll test their knowledge, but don't give him nothing. Don't give him one iota of your personal information. Change your name when you're with him. Don't let him follow you nowhere. Don't tell if he says where you're staying. Wherever you're going to tell him, make sure it's the opposite of where you really is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He'll start digging dirt on you because he'll start building a portfolio. Hey, this guy could be a good friend, but I got to get the dirt on him. I got to get something, so I got it on him. That's what he'll do. So you got to take it with a grain of salt, because I think this is going to be. No one's ever done this. I think if you do it right, I'm gonna when this is over, we'll talk in a little bit, and I'm gonna get a hold of Shuli. This is not my area of expertise, but I'm all about helping somebody that I like, and I'm in a position that I am friends with the right people, and if I made the introduction, at best, that's about the best I could do. How you take that, but I think I'm confident enough to say I can make the introduction.
Okay,
I'm on a level at least I can do that. The rest is on you. You know what I'm saying? But I think I'm in the place that I can probably do that, and I love helping people. I really do. That's my life goal, is for my repentance, help as many people as I can. So, want to read it, partner?
So Mike V with another $4.99 super chat. Clearwater Chad, we're just watching your vid and happy to see you live here. Your videos are great. Mike V with another super chat, $4.99. Love Clearwater Chad. He has a gold star diploma. Skull. And
Thank
then
you so much,
Victoria
Mikey.
with the $10 super chat. You are the greatest ever. All
That means a
right.
lot, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, I haven't. I'm gonna
Oh,
now.
here's
I
one
haven't-
more.
Go ahead.
$4.99 super chat from Mike V. Do everything with love and for fun. Keep away from negativity, in my humble opinion.
Very nice of you, Mike. Thank you. It's true.
It is hard to do a character that's the guy, in real life isn't the best, the
All
most moral
right,
person.
so
You got more heart than anybody ever seen because you are taking on a character that is not liked by a lot of people.
Yeah.
But somewhere down the line, I gotta believe there are some people. I mean, he's got his little corner circle that are loyal to him on his channel. A small group of guys that fortunately John don't really befriend them the right way. It's all about what they can do for him.
It's funny because I want to keep doing just how he is now, but if I keep going for a few more, I'll soften him up, and then we'll do some fun. I'll do fundraising and Stuttering John, and we'll see how that goes.
Well, he claims he's gave a lot to charity. I still yet to remain to see if that's true, but
I wouldn't recommend that. He'll be like, "Well, you got to give me part of that donation," and all that. No.
John's
the
about.
ones we do we just have them go directly to
I got a phone call a few months ago from Little Mirror. He goes, "Hey, can you get Stuttering John? Well, what would Stuttering John pay me? Because he's going to ask for $500. I can promise you that." So he goes, "Give me an hour and I'll call you back to see if I get the money." So 2 hours went back. He called me, says, "I can make this happen. When can you get it?" I go, "I'll call you back in an hour." Call John. I go, "Listen, you want to do an interview tonight for $500? Who? Where's the money at? You got it?" He said, "John, I'm asking you, do you want to do it?" And he goes, "Let me call you back." Well, half an hour he calls back. Goes, "Now tell me about this kid." I said, "Well, he's really not part of the Dabbleverse. He used to be a big pay person to like guys like Melton, and he was a big super chat to Melton and MLC because he was a rapper, I guess. Back history he was making it in the music industry, and Dr. Chow and him teamed up. And Mir is a good kid, man. He's a good kid. He just had a baby, but he gets people to go on a show because he gets, he spreads that money around to hire people that he wants to get on there. So I said, I'll talk to him. So John's right away. "Where's the money? Get the money. I want the money now." I said, "John, I mean, they're not going to spend it.
Someone.
Yeah, I need it now. I need it now." I said, "John, an hour before you agree to do this, he's going to send it to you. You guarantee it, right?" He goes, "But you're going to be there with me? I don't know nothing about this guy." I go, "John, I gave him as much as I could tell him. And I sat there. It was John here, me here, and Mir here, and Dr. Chow here. And I think beloved, that other guy came in, the guy that sleeps with all the porn stars. Forgot his name. But they fucking put a number on John. They fucking started trolling John. When Mir started getting in his zone, I mean, they fucking, the next day, "How the fuck you set me up with these fucking idiots?" I go, "What? You got $500, you ungrateful fucking motherfucker?"
So, Chad, would you like to see Joey chasing around with a measuring tape to see how tall John really is?
I'll get the goods on, like we said, if I go to Florida, and we'll get all those specs soon enough.
You'll have me, if you just do a couple simple things, because John is desperate for people that they know him. You got it. I mean, I think you could sell it to him, but the key is you got to just be at the bar and kind of listen to him, and he'll probably give you a look and
All right,
make small talk with him, stuff like that. So but he'll fall for it. I guarantee you.
So we're gonna go to Psycho Man here because he is a little psycho. Joey, what about going to John's house at night and placing a ringtone camera facing inside the kitchen window to see and hear everything? It's fucking illegal, stupid.
That would probably get me arrested.
That's fucking illegal and
illegal.
trespass. Like, Jesus Christ. You're trying to get someone killed, and then if he gets killed, it's justified because he's trespassing?
Not that I think that would pull a gun on anybody, but
Damn.
it would be. I would be arrested immediately because he's going to call the police. He's going to call the police. There's no doubt in my mind.
Like,
And I got to explain why I'm out there in the dark trying to peek through someone's window. That ain't going to be a good look for me.
and then you're going to be categorized as a
just-
fucking peeping Tom.
Huh?
Yeah.
Be categorized as a peeping Tom.
Folks, we're not doing anything illegal. We're just trying to have a good fun, razz people a little bit.
Well, Go ahead.
What do you think of John's fake cancer charity?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, if
Did you hear
that's true,
about-
that's horrible. I honestly didn't research it that
Yeah.
much. I don't.
He hasn't
I
gotten that
didn't-
far, so yeah.
Listen, you a lot of people seem to go to your page and they really liking you. So it's time to really educate yourself about this guy.
Yeah.
If you can nail this guy, you're on to something big. But you better start educating because he's done a lot of bad shit. And
Okay.
that's what you want to disassociate. You want to do him to make it funny, making fun of him and make it good for you funny. But just know he comes with a lot of heavy baggage. It amazes me how he ain't never been in jail. He breaks a felony a day when he's on the air.
I think he came like that wasn't cool what he did to the former president there with the phone call and
We
stuff.
got lucky that they used the Howard Stern card on that one.
Yeah.
And that Trump was I'm good friends with Howard, and he knew John. You give him that. He did know him pretty good. He wheels his way on that. He should have got arrested for that. I don't care.
Yeah, a regular person would have been in jail. Yeah, they don't
Trump
mess
should have
around.
spared him on that. Should have taught his ass a lesson. Because that's going way beyond. That's interrupted the president of the United States for a fucking prank. I don't go with I don't fly with that. That didn't fly well with me. But he got out of it. The prick got out of it. Like he does everything else. So, got a golden horseshoe up his ass. That's what he's got. Back to life. God, I got so many things I want to talk about. I know we try to stay under 2 hours. We got about 9 minutes left. Anything quick, guys, you want to ask him any more? Because let me tell you, I really appreciate the question. You bailed me out because I was late. I rolled out of bed. It was bound to happen. I stay up a lot of hours and I do a lot of stuff. And I was doing stuff on YouTube and fixing stuff. And I just trying to pass
about
out.
18 minutes.
We do? Okay, we're good. What time is it?
Yeah.
18 minutes? Oh, good. No, according to me, we've got 9 minutes.
The live timer is only showing us at 1 hour and 42 minutes.
Okay, good. Okay, good. You can go another 18 minutes. You're good with that?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Good. Yeah, guys, please. I mean, thank you for Mike and everybody who super chatted questions and who took the time to go over and look at his videos. I'm going to spend my afternoon. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through all your videos, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to learn you and get to know you and hopefully get a good laugh. And maybe I got a good cry. You might bring me into a good cry laugh. You know what I'm saying? I'll let you know if you made me cry in a good way.
Thanks.
Donks, let's get Donks says. Donks is
All
a
right,
great guy.
so
I love Donks.
Chad, I heard through the chats that Joey threw beans at a homeless man. It was the other way around, but
Other way around, yeah. And the guy, I wouldn't press charges because he's down there. He's a regular guy that sleeps down there, and he's for the most part, he keeps things clean down there. When you're down there and you're homeless and you start doing drugs at night, and the girl that you're with is a prostitute and she's wanting drugs, and I just didn't think it was appropriate. And I told this guy, don't take my kindness for weakness, because my landlord said, do not fucking feed the cats. Because if you fucking start feeding them or giving them blankets, you're going to have a big problem. And now I do. I got 90 fucking people out there last night. And now they're breaking into the restaurant. They are inside the restaurant, sleeping in the restaurant that's been closed. And I'm the one that's going to catch the heat for this. So I'm being kind. It might get me.
It's time to start calling the popo on these.
I don't call. I can't make that phone call. I'm sorry. I just can't pick up. I don't have it in me to pick up the phone.
Yeah, but see, they're causing more damage to the facility if they're breaking into restaurants.
How about I just keep trying to, my plan to be out of here by November and back to a house. That's my goal. And then they can have.
All right, so this is going to be a two-part question. Chad, what are your opinions on John's political view? Do you like better Brian Ryan Karam, or Ojeda, or John?
Army Major Ojeda or John? Yeah.
That's a good question.
Have you seen his political show? Do you know he does it once a week?
But I don't really watch it for that. I only watch it to, get his mannerisms. So I'm not really watching the show.
Well, the guy usually in the middle, the Army Major, for some reason, he just loves Stuttering John. He's very loyal to him. But Army Major ran for senator in Virginia. He was a guy that got beat up like a couple weeks before the election. They put him in a hospital, almost killed him. He does a political show on his own. And the other guy on the right, Brian Karam, is one of the reporters that signed to the White House. And they hate Trump. And John seems to think he's a big political athlete. He's got everybody convinced that he ran for, I forgot what office, that he had 5%. And from what I heard from True, said there's no record of him ever being in any election. So he's lying. He's obviously lying. So I mean, like he does about everything. So, but that,
Yeah,
that
I
was
wish-
that's what they're asking. So,
Dr. Chow in the house saying Army Major is a funny dude.
he is. He is. But I still want to know about his stripper daughter. I think he owes the public about his stripper daughter. I want to know about it.
Oh, I mean, if his daughter wants to be a stripper, that's her prerogative.
Don't
Yep.
run. You're in the public view. I was told if you're gonna go, if you make it public, you got to talk. It's fair game. Hey, it's fair game. He's got to answer to the same things we answer to, and I'm holding him accountable for that. So,
True.
I mean, that's just me. Donks is this is Donkey Kong.
So, oh, there you
You
go.
think Stuttering John is going to let someone sit in the same place as him for 2 days without telling them that he? No, that's not what I said, Donk. That's not what I said. Don't just go right up to him and just hang out a little bit and just small talk, and then maybe like the next day go in and say, because he'll say, hey man, and say, you know, I'm here because I forgot something. I know who you are, and I'm really thinking, but I just can't get a grip on it. And then bust him out with, wait a minute, I'm so sorry. If you go that way with John, and I know John pretty good, once he gets the praise out of him that this guy knows who he is, and he's going to be feeding him, God, man, I'm a big fan. I love you. John's going to be rolling over on the floor to have a drinking buddy, and if he's going to learn the guy's craft, that's the best way for him to do it. He could get right with John and fucking really learn John. I'm just telling you. I don't know everything, but I know that would be a perfect way to be one-on-one with Stuttering John without him knowing. And you could really get a lot, because he'll talk your ear off. He's going to tell you how great he is. He's going to give you every money shot of how to impersonate him. I promise you that. So it's a really good idea. So,
Are you not in the public view?
who, me or him? Chad?
We're all in public view, I guess.
Yeah, we're out there. Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the
When
public
he
view.
told John, "Who gives a fuck about your hair?" That was not bad.
When he told John, who gives a fuck about, you talking about Brian Caron when he said that? Yeah, Brian said, I don't know how to say anything. Well, Brian did put him on his place, but Army Major left awful fast that day, and he was a little upset, I think. I pushed him.
Stuttering John did run for Senate. He didn't have enough votes to get on the ballot.
Okay, so now I don't know what that detail. So he's claiming he got 5%. So where does that fit?
Ain't going to be enough to get on the ballot.
So he did get 5%, and you got to get a certain percentage to get on. I mean,
it's going to be
that's
more
what
than
I'm
5%. I can tell you.
Of course. All right, so he did run. It was a failed run. But how come they can't find no record of it?
Maybe he. Who knows? It's a matter of maybe he's lying about where he ran at.
Yeah, I mean, Cupcake is pretty knowledgeable. When he's dead set of something, he would know this. But
Chad, do you believe you could pass John's integrity verifications?
You mean it like if he had me investigated?
Who fucking knows?
They wouldn't find. There's nothing bad about me on the internet. I'm sure you could drill down to my real name pretty quick. You're not going to find anything bad.
That's the only thing you got to worry about with him. If you go at that, you get him in your hands like the way I know you can. His next move in his head is, who's this guy? I got to find everything out about this guy. I got to know everything. He's going to cross me. I know he's going to turn on me. I know it. That's how he's going to think.
Buy 2 beers and leave them off to the side. It will lure John right
Of course,
over.
that's one way to do it. Of course, but do you want to be? I'm just trying to not be obvious, because John, he's dumb, but he's not dumb. You know what I'm saying?
You're right about if I say, oh, who you look familiar, and then are you Stuttering John? Yeah, you could do it that way.
You kind of just play him, be like, because he's going to be dying to tell you, and you're like, but I know you're somebody big. I just know it, and I just been out of touch for a while. But I don't be mad at me if I'm wrong and you bust out. I'm a big fan. Don't tell me you're Stuttering John. If you go at him like that, you're gonna fucking have him coming all over the floor. I promise you.
But see, here's not the problem. It's out there.
What's
You're coaching him on how to do it. Is now out there. So he's
if John gets the 401 today, he still will forget about it tomorrow. That's how dumb he is. You understand? That's my whole point. You surely had an idea. He'll let you back in and be your best friend again. He's that dumb after what happened with me and him. I could have, even Mike said, well, shit, we'll just wait a couple weeks. Joey can be right back on the show with him. And we can start an whole thing. And he would have done it. That's how stupid he is.
Yeah.
He's that dumb.
So, Joey, have you seen the picture of John and Zumach shaking hands in New Jersey?
Recently, that was the recent one where they met when John was
I-
with his mother.
That was a great pick from Chow.
Yeah, I saw that picture. I saw that picture.
5 families voted for him.
Yeah, 5 family members. Well, good. That's great.
And
Ugh.
yes, he was talking about Brian shot back at him. It was the first time it was ever decent.
Yeah, yeah. Because I just, I was taking some cheap shots. I'm like, I mean, how do you feel, Army Major? I'm putting his chair, and John, he timed me out that day like a lot more than a dozen times, but he didn't time me out for the whole day, maybe 5-10 minutes, and I could watch him fucking slithering down in his fucking chair because he knows it's me, and he kept timing me out. And I kept asking, are you okay with being up there with a guy who mailed cocaine to his house? We represent the White House, and you ran for Senate. This is the guy you're defending. He committed a federal felony by doing that. And I just kept hammering John with everything nasty. And he kept deleting them and fucking, I got to John. I know I got to him. And I got to Army Major when Army Major said, I got to go. Because I said, talk to me. I want to know about your stripper daughter. I kept pounding at it, Major. And then I got fucking people going, how can you be so disrespectful? He jumped out of a plane 300 times for our country. And I still want to know about a stripper daughter. What does that got to do? I'm not questioning the guy's military record. I'm not questioning anything.
You just want to know how good she works.
Because he ran. He ran because he knows it's out there. And he'll be like every politician. He's going to sweep it under the rug and make himself look good. That was my whole point for that. That was it. Tubby's on fire today. Look at him.
You look familiar, John. Here's a copy of my resume. I autographed it for $20.
He might try to sell him something if he's short on cash.
Keychains.
John is going to let him know who he is within the first 5 minutes, Joey.
John is going. Oh, you're right. You guys are right. I'm not denying. We know he couldn't resist, but if you get him off guard, if you could just bait him a little bit, it's going to make him really think you're. Listen.
That patron from the bar that was interviewed said he knew who John was within 5 minutes, and he wasn't even a talkative person.
Because John's first thing on that, we talk about the bar where he met with some of his fans, the bar in New York. Because John went right up to that bartender and let him know who he was. I promise you.
Oh, how mean. Truly is no hoe.
Truly is no. Yeah,
So John's integrity verifications are things that he can tell you that you may tell others. Do you believe you could pass a test like that, Chad?
He'll definitely test them. There's no doubt about that.
February. John bans people from chat when he's hungover.
Yeah, he does. I just saying. I think you be the first guy in history that has tried to emulate him to do John. It could go very good for you. I think you could finally get what you want. Your dream of this. You know what I'm saying? I understand what you're saying. I don't want to study nobody else. This is the guy I want to master. So obviously, you got it in your heart to do this. So I appreciate that as if becoming a fan of you to see someone emulate this guy to the T. So I understand that it's an obsession. I know because John can be an obsession. You get so you hate the guy, but then you just can't stop watching him.
That's exactly what it is.
Combo with a lot of people.
So in this corner of the 5'5" persons, we've got Chad. Who do you think will win in a fight between John or Joey? They're about the same height, so it'll be a fair fight.
I'm a little bit taller than him, I think.
By an inch.
I think Joey would win.
I guarantee you I got about 80 pounds on him. I probably
take the weight out of it. You would still probably win.
Listen to me. I'm a type of guy, as much as he deserves to be punched, I don't want to hurt the guy. And I would want to just humiliate him and get it on film, slapping him like a bitch. That's what I would want to do. That would be it.
Tubby says John gives waitresses his phone number in lieu of tips.
That I believe.
This phone number is worth more than any tip I can give y'all.
I believe that. That's John.
Joey, don't go backwards. You make camera blurry.
Oh, you do? Hello?
No, Joey, we're not going there right now, Joey. No.
Going where? Where are we going?
I don't know. You got that little fruity voice going, popping. Hello.
I like this guy. I like you a lot. This guy. I'm glad I didn't. I made it to my own show here. I'm really glad. 'Cause this is funny. This is good.
Dude, if you would have left me to do this show alone, we would have been all over the place. I had to take off to take a baby to a car.
You're gonna bang the shit out of phone. I just, for one reason, I rolled over, and I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. Oh, Jesus, I got to cover my wife. I started to fall asleep. She fell asleep in my arms, and the next thing I know, I woke up at 9:05. I was butt naked. She's naked. I don't know anything past that. That's all I can tell you.
All right, so Chad's final question for the day, because we're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Chad, what is the most embarrassing thing that you have seen on video of John admitting doing something stupid?
That's a good question because everything's pretty embarrassing that he does. So it's hard to think of just one thing.
Yeah, I think
you said it, you're limited as far as your viewing of Stuttering John.
Yeah,
you watched
I've only
one
watched
particular video to pick up his mannerism, so you haven't gone down his full course rabbit hole of dysfunction.
Right. I watched the one where he's like in looks like his mother's dining room, and that's
Christmas.
the one I watch over and over.
That was Christmas with the.
If he really did that, this man is a fucking idiot.
What Chad, Mike, shitty internet provider. Chad, do you know John dipped his dick in? And he probably did. He's
I don't know.
He's a weirdo. Yeah, you're talking about Christmas time when his sister was there. He was in the dining area with the
yeah. It had the hutch.
The hutch behind him. Yeah.
Yep.
That was Christmas time.
All right. So Donk says he was talking about the man from Pickwick Pub who was interviewed. You got any plugs you want to put out there, Chad?
Please tell everybody where they can find you, please.
Well, yeah, just my channel. It's just Clearwater Chad 9037. But just type in Clearwater Chad. It'll come right up. I appreciate it. Want to give a shout out to Mike V and Victoria. Thanks, guys, and thanks everyone.
Kinky Loco, my man, just popped in. Yes, Kinky Loco. I see you, buddy. Thank you for being here. I want to thank you first and foremost. That I'm just glad I was smart enough to jump on this quickly to get you to come over to it, because I saw something and I'm like, are you gonna procrastinate on this? Or are you gonna fucking get a hold of this guy? And I said, I gotta thank the Pineapple, because, like I said, when he was showing you, things start clicking in my head. I go, I gotta get this guy before anybody does. And just because I just was blown away. This is a guy that could be. This guy could, if he's got the passion, and no one's ever tried to do this, this could be big for you. I mean, this could change your whole life if it's done right. And I'm not the guy I'm no agent, but I got one thing I think I can help you with, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that part.
Thank you.
And I'd be a fool not to. And that'd be great. That if it helps you in such a way that it makes you to be where you want to be, that'll be the best thing that you could give me. That by mastering that, because I think a lot of people would like to see someone out there that could mimic Stuttering John, and to also see him get so upset at you and Ben. That would be it. That's gonna be.
That'd be
look
funny.
forward to a lot. Take it out, Lou. Thank everybody for being here. We'll see you tomorrow.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we
Bust the
love
ball.
Kelly Clarkson. Until tomorrow. What's Super Chat, Cupcake? I didn't see one. Your 3 months in Tampa at 1 p.m. That one?